I've been kind of following the Senior Bowl. I'd make you proud. In fact, I saw a tweet from Dillon Gabriel. Well, I don't know if it was from him, but it was about him. Where
I loved this.
Dillon Gabriel's rocking an Oregon, Oklahoma, and UCF on his helmet because he's played for all these teams, and he's at least 40.
Yeah.
This guy's bounced around. Come on. I mean, he's got a 401k, the whole deal.
3 years at UCF, 2 years at OU, and then this last year at Oregon.
Yeah, I'm doing the math. 42 with kids and
24.
grandkids. Unbelievable.
25. I love that, though.
But
that's a sick-looking helmet.
It is. I'd make you proud with this, George.
With the black.
Because I've been following all this stuff. Because I knew we'd talk about it on this show in Foxborough Rush. Check that out.
Yep.
More on that in a minute. But our guy, Donovan Ezeiruaku from Boston College, has been crushing these practices.
Catching a lot of eyes.
Crushing. Now, we got to talk about the quarterbacks as well. Dillon Gabriel has looked the best out of this group. But the quarterback group is atrocious.
Yeah,
and
Jalen
they have been
Milroe.
getting butchered.
I know.
Gabriel, Milroe, Jaxson Dart, Riley Leonard, my guy. None of them have looked good. They said the best has been Dillon Gabriel, but he hasn't looked great either, and he's kind of small. I mean, the quarterbacks are a mess. So let's talk about both. I want to start with our guy, Donovan Ezeiruaku, because you were on top of this. That's why I say GM George. We had him on this show. He was great. We loved him. And then he proceeded to ball out all year for Boston College. Led the nation in sacks. Now his stock is starting to rise. This is something you called that could happen with him.
Yeah.
And we were originally hearing second round. Yeah. Now we're hearing he could be playing his way into the back end of the first round.
He was a day 2 guy to me no matter what.
Yes.
And I think his bigger upside was he's not necessarily like sets the edge in run defense, but he can beat the initial blocker and just make plays in run defense. And he has a smaller stature. Like, he's built like a Von Miller without the freak athleticism.
6'2", 250.
Yeah, but as a pass rusher, he's proven. But it was also him going in one-on-ones with Josh Connerly, going in one-on-ones with Arante Ursary from Minnesota, Connerly from Oregon. Those are guys that are seen to be first-round tackle prospects, and he is just dominating them. And that's where you see the flashes, and that's what like the Senior Bowl can do. It's the exposure these guys get. It's the front offices, the scouts, everyone being around them. It is a sheer competition. You learn a lot about these guys.
Yeah.
And for Ezeiruaku, you know, we spoke to him, and what you hear about him from people I've spoken to, just like he's just an A-plus human being in every way.
We loved him.
Never questioned the competitive nature of him. But to see him in those one-on-one settings, like taking on a left tackle from the Big Ten, taking on a offensive tackle from the Big Ten as well. Now Oregon's in the Big Ten, of course.
Right.
But like the exposure to the competition and just the flashes he's showing, he's going up. Like, I think he's a solid second rounder. And if a team falls in love with him and they want to take him in the first because he's right there for them and there is a need on the back end, I would not be shocked.
Okay, it's not going to happen, I don't think. But let's go down the land of make-believe because this is a possibility.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about, hey, maybe the Patriots should trade out of the 4th pick and trade to the back end of the first round.
I don't like back end.
Okay, so that's where you're at because that's where my question was. Obviously, if they trade to the teens, he's not in play. If they do trade to the back end of the first round, do you think he would be in play for the Patriots?
I mean, they would have to crush free agency. Like Alaric Jackson, T. Higgins, Trey Smith, and Josh Sweat all under contract with the Patriots. And that's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And to take him in that spot, again, they would have to crush it. I would rather see still like a Tyler Warren taken there.
Okay.
This is a very deep defensive line class, and that's where you can see where the Patriots may not reach. But again, like to go into it, I just don't think that happens.
Right.
Look, at 4.
You'd rather have Abdul Carter.
Yeah. And I understand like the Ted McMillan conversation, but they have their top 2 needs are tackle and wide receiver, and after that it's edge.
Sure.
Abdul Carter is the second best prospect in this draft, and their need at edge is so big, and he's such a can't-miss prospect. They got to take him at 4.
Okay. All right.
At most, I see them trading back to 6 or 7, and then there could be a Shamar Stewart from A&M, who, again, is just dazzling scouts out there in Mobile, Alabama.
Okay. All right, let's talk these QBs because, listen, looking at the notes, it's all the same stuff that we heard about Drake May, too, but Drake May is just so much better of a prospect and an athlete than any of these cats. Footwork issues, George. Taking snaps under center. All of them struggle. Jaxson Dart, Milroe, Gabriel. I mean, this is a terrible quarterback draft class. And then the 2 at the top, we're not even sure if they're great. We know they're good, but we don't.
I think Cam Ward's great.
Okay, you think so?
Yeah.
there's a lot of debate on both Shedeur and Cam Ward.
Now, you point out that getting under center, do have to point back to Drake May struggled under center when he first got with the Patriots.
Did. That was a knock.
Like every day in training camp, a fumbled snap.
And
like
footwork.
A quarterback center exchange and the footwork.
Fundamentals.
So, Milroe, the thing is still, it's like he's just not accurate short and intermediate. And you have to, in modern day NFL, you have to be.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Mahomes' air yards per attempt were right there with like Daniel Jones's. And that's because you take what the defense gives you. He is magnificent, Jalen Milroe, throwing the ball downfield, but he is a project. And then you have to work on the natural accuracy.
Yeah.
And Jaxson Dart, day 2, I think at most. And play into that and a guy that you develop, but
he's a system guy. Jaxson Dart feels
and that's
like
true.
a
Like coming from with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, like what is it going to be? So
right,
it's just
I get Matt Corral vibes from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's you attach a helmet to the player, which I understand. I think Dart is better. I think he's a more natural thrower of the football, more athletic, but he's still like a project to be there.
Yeah.
Again, it just comes to processing and again understanding at the line of scrimmage what to do. Dillon Gabriel does that well, but a Jaxson Dart, you're not asked to do that as much when you're in college. It's quicker, up tempo, go.
It's interesting
NFL
because
make changes.
I don't think if I'm a team, I don't think I would draft any of these guys we're talking about and stash them as projects. Like I wouldn't look at Jalen Milroe and think, okay, I'll draft him, stash him, have a bridge guy, develop Milroe, and then go to him in a season or two. Mm-hmm. I don't even think they're that good. Mm-hmm. I don't think. To George's point, if you're not accurate, I can't necessarily teach you that. You can improve a little, but you're not going to be an inaccurate quarterback in college and then come into the league and be accurate all of a sudden. That doesn't happen. Ask the Colts. They're dealing with this with Anthony Richardson. And at least you can hang your hat on Anthony Richardson being an athletic freak of nature. You can't do that with Jared Milroe. He's a good athlete. He's not Anthony Richardson level. Yeah. And they're struggling in Indianapolis with Richardson's inaccuracy. Yeah. So I just want no parts of any of these guys. I think what I would do is punt and draft a D lineman or whatevs and worry about the quarterback next season. I would.
Yeah, maybe there's like the late round bridge QB, like a Will Howard.
Maybe.
It all depends what your system is.
Maybe.
Not even Riley Leonard. He's still too inconsistent throwing it.
But that's what I mean. I don't think I'd take any of them
as a project. If you love Quinn Ewers, you get him healthy. You can't mess with the kid's mental fortitude. I mean, he had the most popular backup quarterback in the history of college football breathing down his neck.
But let's stay there.
And it's like,
is he a project, though? Is he someone you draft and you think?
Not a project.
Right.
He would be a backup.
Yes.
And then you develop him into possibly being a starter.
See, I would rather take a veteran as a bridge guy. I don't know, Kirk Cousins, pennies on the dollars. There's a guy we're going to talk about in a minute, Russell Wilson. I'd rather take someone like that.
Yeah.
And then draft a quarterback next year in a much stronger class.
Take a guy like that, you're taking a cap hit of like $5 to $7 million compared to a rookie that's going to be under $1 million. They get the guaranteed money up front.
They do.
It's a guaranteed money. And also, I mean, second round pick's different from first, but that's when you go into it. You'd rather have your bridge be a rookie. And teams are always going to take QBs. You never know what you get with somebody until you get them into their building. Yeah. One guy, hey, for your boy Caleb Williams, Gray Zabel has apparently looked fantastic. He's a left tackle from North Dakota State.
Okay.
But during his years at NDSU, he's played left tackle, left guard, and right tackle.
Okay.
And he's projected. He's 6'5", 315, not the longest arm, so he's projected to move inside.
Yeah.
He's been taking reps at both guard spots and center, and he's been impressing everyone.
Right.
For the Bears, they pick at 10, I believe. Wyatt Millum of West Virginia.
Yeah.
Zabel could be a guy that they can maybe trade back into the first and get because, again, the Bears have flexibility, but they need to shore up that offensive line, especially in the middle. Zabel's a guy for them to watch. Like, apparently, he's been great at there, and that's someone that is athletic, great reaction time to mirror pass rushers, good anchor and gravity, so he's been fantastic there.